Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving straight into one of the most dramatic, emotionally charged, and just incredibly psychologically rich moments in all of biblical history. We're talking about a massive story of betrayal, hidden identities, and ultimate redemption. I mean, just imagine the scene for a second. Joseph, a guy who was once the favored son, betrayed and actually sold into slavery by his very own brothers, is now sitting as the second most powerful man in all of Egypt. He's basically the prime minister of the ancient world. And those same brothers? Famine has driven them right to his doorstep. They are standing right in front of him, begging for food, and they have absolutely no idea who he really is. It's in this exact moment of supreme power that Joseph decides to trigger an event that's going to push his family right to their breaking point.
And so, naturally, it begs this kind of wild question: why on earth would you frame your own brother for theft? Like, put yourself in his shoes for a moment. Joseph has supreme power. He has literally everything, yet he decides to play what honestly looks like an incredibly cruel trick on his youngest, completely innocent brother Benjamin. If you're just looking at this on the surface, it feels super vindictive, right? It feels like the ultimate power trip. But as we dig into the sources today, we're going to see a radically different motive hiding just beneath the surface.
All right, let's break down exactly what went down here. These are Joseph's precise, top-secret orders to his steward. Step 1. Fill the brothers' sacks with literally as much food as they can carry. Step 2. Secretly stash all their money right back into those sacks. And step 3, this is the real kicker, plant Joseph's own personal silver divination cup right at the top of Benjamin's sack. Now, this cup wasn't just a fancy mug. It was a terrifying artifact that ancient Egyptians believed held magical powers. By laying out these specific steps early on, the commentary makes one thing absolutely crystal clear. This is not some chaotic act of revenge. No, this is a highly calculated, meticulously planned, high-stakes test. Joseph is basically running a tightly controlled psychological experiment, which brings us to the actual true motive rooted deep in these texts. This was a test of empathy, not a trap of spite. Think about it. Wind the clock back 20 years. These older brothers were completely consumed by jealousy. They coldly abandoned Joseph to slavery and then lied straight to their father's face, saying he was dead. Now jump back to the present, and Benjamin has taken Joseph's place as the new favorite son. Joseph absolutely has to know, have they actually changed? When the pressure's really on and their own lives are on the line, are they going to abandon Benjamin just as fast as they abandon him? And the way he executes this test is just breathtakingly sudden. Picture this timeline. First, at the crack of dawn, the brothers head out of the city. They are thrilled. Their mission is a success, and they're finally heading home with food for their starving families. But then, boom! Step 2, before they even get that far down the road, the steward is violently chasing them down. And step 3, he drops a heart-stopping accusation on them. He accuses them of a major, severe crime, stealing the personal divination cup of the vizier of Egypt. I mean, imagine the sheer panic setting in. The emotional whiplash from absolute pure joy to terrifying peril is just instantaneous. Now, how the brothers react to this is incredibly telling. They are so completely confident in their own innocence that they boldly fire back. If anyone is found with it, he shall die, and the rest of us will become slaves. They don't just say, hey, we didn't do it. They literally say, if you find it, punish every single one of us. It's an amazing statement of unity, for sure. But as we know from how this was set up, it's a totally doomed confidence that's about to trap all of them in a massive, shared nightmare.
All right, moving into section 2, the turning point. The real test begins.
So the steward accepts their dramatic terms, but he tweaks them just a bit. He says only the actual thief will become a slave. The rest of you guys can go free. He starts searching methodically, dragging out the agonizing tension, going from the oldest brother all the way down to the youngest. And then, the devastating gut punch. The cup is found exactly where Joseph planted it, right there in Benjamin's sack. The source commentary points out a really crucial detail here. The brothers immediately tear their clothes. You know, back in ancient times, tearing your garments wasn't just like, oh, I'm frustrated. It was a profound, visceral expression of absolute grief and shared mourning. Their worst nightmare has literally become reality. But notice what they do not do. They don't point fingers at Benjamin. They don't run for the hills. They take the devastation head on, together. And right here, this brilliantly illustrates the massive transformation the text wants us to catch. Look at the contrast. 20 years ago, when they faced a crisis they created, they tossed Joseph into slavery without batting an eye. But today is completely different. They stand firmly with Benjamin. They reload those donkeys, turn around, and walk straight back into the jaws of the Egyptian vizier together. They flat out refuse to leave their little brother behind. The test is working. You can undeniably see that their character has shifted.
Which brings us to Section 3. Judah steps forward. From betrayer to substitute. Back in the city, the brothers literally fall to the ground before Joseph. The tension in that room must have been so thick you could cut it with a knife. Someone has to say something. Someone has to plead this totally hopeless case. And who is the one to step up? It's Judah, the exact same brother who 20 years ago was the one who originally pitched the terrible idea to sell Joseph in the first place. And his words here carry immense theological weight. He says, God has found out the guilt of your servants. Notice he doesn't try to offer some flimsy alibi. He doesn't try to prove the cup was a plant. Why? Because Judah isn't actually talking about stealing a silver cup at all. He is confessing to a deeply hidden 20-year-old sin. The immense guilt of selling their brother has been eating them alive, and Judah finally realizes that even though they didn't steal anything today, they are profoundly guilty before God for what they did in the past.
So Judah's logic here is just absolutely brilliant, but also heartbreaking. First off, he admits they have no excuse. The evidence was literally in the sack. Second, he recognizes that this inescapable trap is basically God's rightful punishment for those past, unconfessed sins. And third, rather than letting Benjamin take the fall for it, he steps up, accepts the collective guilt of the group, and offers himself as a slave instead. He does all of this for one reason, to protect his elderly father's heart from being shattered a second time.
But Joseph, he pushes the trap just one step further. He looks at them and says, "No, I am a just man. Only the one found with the cup will be my slave. The rest of you, go home in peace." He literally offers them the exact same escape patch they took 20 years ago. Abandon the favorite son and save your own skin. But Judah completely refuses to leave him. It's just a genuine, incredible display of substitutionary sacrifice. Judah is offering to literally trade his own life and his own freedom just so his brother can walk away free.
And that takes us to Section 4, the ultimate purpose, uncovering the past to heal the future.
So, zooming out, you've got to ask, why did all of this have to happen? Why all the deception, the planted cup, the absolute terror? Well, the text maps out a profound theological takeaway here. This whole ordeal represents God's sovereign intervention in human affairs. The commentary makes a powerful point. God actively uses current, unavoidable crises to bring unrepented, long-forgotten sins right bubbling back to the surface. These brothers had buried their crime for 2 solid decades, and God used a silver cup and a sack of grain to force them to finally look that crime in the eye and experience genuine, life-altering repentance. And honestly, this paints such a stunning picture of grace. When God brings our dark past to light, it is absolutely not for condemnation. It is for true restoration. As the sources remind us, exposing the hidden wound is really the only way to clean it. God doesn't expose our past mistakes just to humiliate us or destroy us, right? He orchestrates these intense moments of realization to guide us out of our own self-deception and toward genuine healing. And in the process, it forges stronger, literally life-saving relationships. Which leaves us with this massive, echoing thought from this incredible story. Are we willing to face our past to find true restoration? The brothers had to walk through the absolutely terrifying crucible of Joseph's test just to finally become the family they were always meant to be. They had to own their guilt so they could finally be set free from it. It's an ancient narrative for sure, but man, it is a mirror held right up to us today. What hidden things in our own lives might we need to confront in order to truly move forward? Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. Keep asking questions, keep digging deep, and I'll catch you next time.